I can do this with my eyes closed. It's too easy. It's too easy. I can do this with my eyes closed. It's too easy. Too easy. It's too easy. I've been there, done it, seen it. Boy, all that like Keenan. Still got crack, they fiendin'. Flow still hot like Phoenix. Shine so bright, I'm gleaming. This off top, I'm tweaking. Fresh out the rat like Neiman. And I'm still tryna fight my demons. But we all gotta act like Tina. That's why I gotta ride with the Nina. Outside, it's a war going on. Maybe put my hands on my head like the Macarena. They want you walking on board like Kima. And give an F to you like John Cena. Putting blood on the brand new Beamer. Tryna earn they stripes like Adidas. You get cold when you ride with the heater. It'll turn you to a dog like a Keeta. And expose to a cat like a cheetah. They smoke my partner like reefer. Dímelo porque o no entiendo. Mi gente must really need Jesus. They shed real blood. I never seen the crypt and I believe it. It's too easy. Too easy. I can do this with my eyes closed. It's too easy. Too easy. I can do this with my eyes closed. It's too easy. Too easy. I can do this with my eyes closed. It's too easy. Too easy. It's too easy. I've been there, done it, seen it. Y'all just talk, don't live it. And just took that route, that seen it. And I'm so outspoken like Reason. Jimmy Neutron, boy, Young G's. And I'm a self-made man out of Sweden. And it's still off top, I'm tweaking. But I still gotta fight my demons. I ain't no good, I'm evil. I ain't been clean since Eden. It's a war going on outside. Make you put your hands on your head like the Macarena. That's why I gotta watch my demeanor. You know they locking up blacks and Latinos. It's the same old game, ain't nothing.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome into the WAG show. I am your host, Ben Hostler. It is episode 25. It is St. Patrick's Day, Friday, March 17th. We are here to talk about today's best bets, talk about the NCAA tournament. A lot going on today. Some great college games so far. Kennesaw State, I really thought they were going to pull that out there for a minute, but epic choke job. How you go up double digits and then don't score for 7 minutes, that's embarrassing. There's no excuse of them losing that game. They should have won that game. Xavier survives. I think Xavier – I'm not super high on Xavier. I think that I have them in my bracket pick to lose next round anyway, so it would have been nice to knock them out. But I'm not super high on it. UC Santa Barbara, it's kind of a close game. They're down 7. St. Mary's VCU, very, very good game. Vermont, Marquette. I'm not super high on Marquette, but I mean they should win that. And then there's some really good games later. A lot of underdogs are live today. I think Pittsburgh's live at 3:30 against Iowa State. I think Drake is live versus Miami, even with Miami's big man back. I think FAU is a slight underdog to Memphis, but I think that they're certainly live to win that game. I think Montana State is live versus Kansas State. I think Kent State's live versus Indiana. Arizona State is probably live versus TCU. I think TCU will win, but overall, there's a lot of underdogs are live today. So it should be a bunch of good games. We're going to talk a little bit about college, and we're going to talk about some NBA props. We're going to show off the premium tools over at betkarma.com. Yesterday's NBA picks, we had Josh Okogie over fantasy points that hit. We had Spencer Dinwiddie over fantasy points. I think that hit as well. But I know I said Okogie was the top player. That definitely did hit. He had a pretty good game. We also hit our first college bet. If you guys have somehow missed out on this, my college bet's 100% free in our Discord, betkarmachat.com. Sync your Discord account, sync your BetKarma account with your Discord account on the BetKarma website. And you can see all the channels for free. Give out my bets there for free. We've been absolutely crushing March. Decent day yesterday, nothing crazy, but decent. We did hit Furman money line yesterday, which was good. And then my main play was a 3-team parlay. We won that. But today we had Michigan State money line, first play of the day, that won. So that was good. So I think today's going to be a good day in terms of like the college betting. If you have any games you'd like to talk about, drop them in the chat and we can discuss. But I'm going to pull up. This will be a quicker stream today, I think. I'm going to pull up the Prize Picks predictor. I see one play that I really like. Throw up the X. Yeah, dude. That was man, if you a couple people on Discord bet on Xavier, man, I don't know. I'd have been sweating. I just don't like Xavier. First of all, I hate Sean Miller. This is why I don't like Xavier. I hate Sean Miller with a passion, and I think he stinks. He's a cheater. He sweats more than anyone on the face of the earth, which also annoys me. Like, the guy's just sweaty, and I don't know. I know he can't really physically help that, but there's just something about him sweating that much that just doesn't sit right with me. So I hate Sean Miller. So that's partially why I don't like Xavier. Actually, it's not partially why. That is why I don't like Xavier. It's actually the only reason why. And it's the only reason why I'll never pick them to win anything. They could be the number 1 overall seed, and I will pick them out in the first couple rounds. I freaking hate that guy. I hated him at Arizona, and now it's just like even worse. Who's winning today? College? I mean, are you asking every single game or one specific game? I think some people have been picking against Creighton. I don't think there's any way Creighton loses today. I think Creighton's winning. I think top to bottom, Creighton's starting 5 is one of the best in the country. NC State has a decent backcourt, but I don't see how. Someone on TikTok tried to tell me that Burns can stop Kalkbrenner. There's absolutely no way that Burns is stopping Kalkbrenner. I don't think NC State can handle the size of Creighton, so I think Creighton is going to win. So if you want one straight up pick of who's just winning, I think Creighton is winning today. I also like Kentucky over Providence. I've seen mixed results on this. Kentucky looks like they're going to be fully healthy for the first time in a long time. Providence, I can't get a read on. They've just been terrible recently. The last 2 weeks, losing at home a couple times. They've looked bad, and then it seems like their coach is leaving to go coach elsewhere. So I don't like that because that can go either way. You can look at it as the team's going to ride for his last ride with them, or they're just going to tank because he's leaving. I don't know. I don't like to bet on that. But if Kentucky's fully healthy, I think Kentucky's a decent team. And they've actually, I know they lost to Vanderbilt twice in their last couple games, but Kentucky's been playing better over the last month. So if they're fully healthy, I think Kentucky wins today. Favorite upset pick? If I had to just pick one, I think Montana State is probably my favorite. Montana State feels to me a lot like Furman yesterday. I think they can cover, but I really think that Montana State can beat Kansas State outright. I'm not super high on Kansas State. Like Providence, not playing their best basketball right now. And Montana State is sneaky. I think that they could certainly win outright today. So that's my pick for today's Furman is Montana State. Let's see here, Baylor, they're pulling away. Do you guys know is anyone watching the Marquette game? I saw Tyler Kolek got hurt. Is he playing or is he actually hurt? I just saw someone mention it right before I started, but I haven't been able to look. Picks for NBA. Yeah, I'm going to give some out. We'll pull up the prize vector here in 1 second. I already know what my favorite NBA play is going to be today. And it's going to be someone that we've been riding the last, I would say week or so. I'll pull it up right now. All right. Let me see here. If you guys have never seen this tool, this is the Prize Picks Predictor over at betkarma.com. We have projections for all of the Prize Picks lines. We also have an Underdog Predictor. If you guys bet on Underdog, you can use that as well. We're partnered with Prize Picks, so we talk mostly about them. You can sort by the differential, which helps you identify value bets, difference between our projection and the Prize Picks line. You can also sort by the raw projection, you can see like for points today, we have Joel Embiid as scoring the most points out of all the players tonight, almost 35. Then we have Damian Lillard, Anthony Davis. You can go all the way down. But we also have all the stat categories that you want to bet on: rebounds, assists, PRAs, fantasy points, rebounds, assists, anything. It's a very useful tool. If you bet regularly on Prize Picks, I would highly recommend signing up, giving it at least like a month to check it out. Everyone that's signed up recently has enjoyed the tool. You also get access to the premium Discord channel. You get my picks, you get Spike's picks, all of our staff picks. Spike hit a really big one last night for all the premium members. It was a heavier play that he felt very good about, and it came through. So Spike's been doing pretty good. My NBA picks have been really solid over the last 2 weeks as well, and that goes in part with the predictor. The predictor's been on absolute fire. But my favorite NBA play today, if you're on Prize Picks, is right here. It's the number one difference in our projection as well. It's a almost 20% difference. 38.5 is the line. We have him at almost 46 fantasy points. Jaren Jackson Jr., this is my favorite play today. I think it's a fantastic matchup for him against San Antonio. They don't really have anyone that can match up directly with him. He gets, like, we've talked about this a couple times, but when Ja Morant is out, most people just look to Tyus Jones and Desmond Bane, but Jaren Jackson Jr. actually gets a massive bump up as well with him out. He ties Bane for the highest usage rate on the team with Ja off the floor, and I've already said I think it's a very good matchup for him. San Antonio, they're bottom 10 in rebounding rate. They're dead last overall in defensive rating, and they actually unlike typical Spurs teams, this team plays fast. They're top 5 overall in pace. Memphis is top 7, top 8 in pace, so it should be a fast-paced game with very little defensive pressure from the Spurs, and they're not good against big men. They're not good in terms of rebounding. So I agree with the projection today. I think that Jaren Jackson Jr. has a very good chance to go over his fantasy points number. So Jaren over 30.5 fantasy points on Prize Picks is my favorite overall play today. If you're on a book and you can't bet fantasy points, you can take him over PRAs, but I don't know. His PRA number is decently high. I think that the advantage of betting on Jaren Jackson Jr. for fantasy points is he can rack up points, obviously blocking, which that's not accounting in the PRA line, right? But you're getting fantasy points for blocks, and he's someone that can rack up 2-3 blocks easy in a game. So typically when I say I like someone for fantasy points, and if you don't like that, you can sub in the PRAs. Jaren's a little bit different just because you're not getting any points for blocks, and that can't account. I mean, he can rack up 10 fantasy points with blocks pretty easily on any night. So you can't take him over PRAs, but I really like the fantasy points number. As far as other plays go, take a look here. I don't know why this is zoomed out. Listen. Daniel Gafford over points is popping, obviously, is the highest differential on raw points here. Nick Richards, I think, is interesting a little bit. So he's kind of been starting recently with Mark Williams out. Mark Williams is out again tonight. So I think I actually prefer Richards to Gafford if you're going to pick one of those two out of the ones that are really popping. We didn't really run through injuries, which I normally do, so apologies for that. But I can quickly go through. Tatum said he's going to play, so we don't need to worry about that. The big ones to watch are going to be Steph Curry, Rudy Gobert, and I guess Jeremy Grant. Everyone else is pretty much out. I guess Kyrie's questionable as well. So if Kyrie's out, you're going to get Hardy starting again. Luka is still out, so it's kind of that same situation there where some of those supplementary Dallas guys get a big bump up. If Gobert's out, it's Naz Reid. Assuming he's able to play, he's going to start and just go absolutely ham like he normally does. Curry is questionable, but they kind of said he's going to play, so I don't think you need to worry about that one a lot. Draymond is out, though, because he got suspended for too many technicals. So we'll probably see Kuminga start in place of him. And I guess that kind of helps some guys because Dre does a lot in terms of like assisting and rebounding. So that does open some things up. I need to dive a little bit more into that situation. And then if Grant's out, we'll probably see Watford start again. But with Simon's back, Simon's being back hurts Dame a little bit in terms of like scoring because Simons likes to chuck up shots. But we need to make sure that Naz Reid's able to play because if Gobert's out, he's just been going crazy this year whenever Gobert's been out, but he missed last game as well. So actually for it being a Friday, there's actually not that much going on. Dewan, what's up? There's actually not that much going on in terms of injury stuff today. Richards over points, though, looks good to me. So number one play today was Jaren Jackson over fantasy points at 38.5 on Prize Picks. I like this Nick Richards over 9.5 real points. I think that's a good call. Looking around here. So Dylan Brooks, if you guys don't know, in our Discord, people have been talking about Dylan Brooks over assists the last few days. Like I feel like this has kind of been one that a lot of people in Discord have been taking. It's the number one differential in the predictor again today as well. They have over 3. Line's at 2.5. I don't have a firm stance on it one way or the other, but I know some people in Discord have kind of been taking that regularly over the last few days. So if you guys want to go with that, I know it's a high number for Tyus Jones at 7.5, but I actually prefer taking the over on him. Tyus Jones has seen double-digit potential assists without John Moran. He does a lot facilitating, so I think 7.5 is actually a pretty. I feel pretty confident in that number, especially against the Spurs. We talked about how bad their defense are. You would assume guys around him are able to make shots. He's minus 132 on FanDuel on the over of that, so I feel pretty good about that 7.5 assist line. I'm probably going to add that and bet that myself. So, yeah, that'll be our third play. So we have 3 plays today. Jaren Jackson over fantasy points, Tyus Jones over 7.5 assists, and Nick Richards over 9.5 points. Those are the 3 plays today. Let me look at the books here. Kind of a tough matchup for Richards, but I don't mind it. Take on the Spurs, like the Spurs in general, they're players. None of their players are really popping today in the predictor. Pull up fantasy points. I mean, you can see like Vassell is like a slight lean over. Collins is like a slight lean over. Keldon's on the under. I actually think that, like, if you want to take an under, I wouldn't hate Keldon Johnson's fantasy points under just because when they're fully healthy, there's just a lot going on there. Sometimes he doesn't get the ball as much. Also, can we talk about him missing those free throws the other night? Dude, I don't remember what my bet was, but we had somebody on the Spurs to go over, and he was like one off going over, and Keldon Johnson has 2 free throws to send that game to overtime, and he missed both. I mean, is that not just a prime example of tanking? Like, what is this guy doing? Missing both free throws. Absolutely disgusting. Absolutely disgusting from Keldon Johnson. And I was a Keldon Johnson fan. I might have to revisit my fanhood of him after that display. Let's check the college. St. Mary's up 4. Baylor up big. Marquette up big. Nothing crazy. This Pittsburgh-Iowa State game at 3:30 should be pretty good. Do you have any college picks today? Yeah, I gave one. I think Kentucky wins tonight. I think Creighton is going to win. I wouldn't bet Pittsburgh at 4.5, but I do think Pittsburgh's going to be in that game against Iowa State. I think it's going to be a competitive game. But Kentucky and Creighton are two teams that I really think will win today. And then my upset, my pick for Furman of today is Montana State. Kansas State, I would bet their spread. I think they can win outright. I think that's going to be a close game. Manuel, what's up? If you guys joined late, the NBA picks for today in order. Number 1, Jaren Jackson over fantasy points on Prize Picks, over 30.5. I probably wouldn't bet it on the books because we were kind of talking about how he gets so many points blocking shots for the fantasy points. So we like Jaren Jackson over fantasy points. We like Tyus Jones over 7.5 assists, and we like Nick Richards over 9.5 points. What do you think about Clay's points prop of 23.5? I don't hate it. I don't hate it. I'll see what we have it at. I will say I don't. Off the top of my head, I don't mind that though. We haven't read it as number. We've talked about this a few times. Like, if you're really confident in a number and we have the projection pretty much on par with it, that's not necessarily saying that you have to bet it under. It's just a guide. But yeah, Clay over is fine. I also like to bet. Sometimes I like to bet on the books. You can't do this on Prize Picks, but both Curry and Clay, depending on the matchups, sometimes I like to bet their first quarter points. Because Clay, I mean, that's a guy, like, if he comes out and he's making threes, like, they'll feed him. Like, we've seen it a couple times, first quarter, first half. He can go for 20, 30 points, no problem. So sometimes on the Warriors, specifically Clay and Curry, first quarter points, I like to bet. But Curry, they normally raise it up. It's normally like 7.5, which is a lot. But sometimes you can do that for Clay as well. I think that's fun. But overall, I think that's going to do it for today, guys. Last day of the week. I hope you guys have a great St. Patrick's Day. Be safe if you guys go out. I hope you have a great weekend. We do the show Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern. I'll be back on Monday to talk college basketball, NBA, whatever else you guys have for me. This will be up for replay. It'll be on iTunes if you want to watch it back to get the plays. Good luck with your bets tonight, and I will see you guys on Monday.